Welcome to our last match of week 1 of the Victory Road League here between the Buffalo Bouffalants and the Toronto Staraptors. The Buffalo Bouffalants are coached by Kate, aka Kate, and we have the Toronto Staraptors who are coached by Lindo. Kate is bringing in a Palafin, Meganium, Paldean Tauros, the Fire Breed, Auroras, Sylveon, and Pidgeot. And then, of course, the Toronto is bringing in Dragonite, Sneasler, Basque Legion, Sinistcha, Pelipper, and Archaludon. As we are here in our last match of week 1 of the Victory Road League, we all thank you for your love and support as we head in here and see who comes out on top between Buffalo and Toronto. Toronto is going to lead out with the Pelipper and Archaludon, but Buffalo is going to lead out with the Meganium and Aurora, setting up the snow warning, counteracting that Pelipper drizzle right away off to a fantastic start with the counterplay from Buffalo. We shall see what Buffalo has in store for Toronto here. And Toronto's gonna set up the tailwind from the Pelipper, making their team just a little bit faster. And here incoming the Flash Cannon onto the Auroras, a one-hit KO! Extremely effective and a big move for the Toronto Staraptors. Meganium with the Leech Seed is gonna avoid the attack. What a play on Toronto's end. A luck of RNG there. And incoming the Palafin. And what does Buffalo have in store to try to counteract this Pelipper as well as this Archaludon? Snow still having about 4 turns. And a very interesting case here of, is Buffalo undermanned here? And they're gonna withdraw, Toronto's gonna withdraw that Pelipper and let out the Sinistcha. And incoming a Flash Cannon to the Meganium does almost half. And incoming an Aura Sphere onto the Archaludon. Super effective. And incoming the Stamina. So the defense is going to rise. Incoming a Giga Drain onto the Sinistcha. Trying to get just at least a little bit of damage off. And will give Meganium some healing back. And of course, Archaludon with the leftovers. What does Buffalo have in store? Snow still having 3 turns left here. What can we expect? What can we see? They're going to withdraw the Sinistcha right away and bring out the Pelipper to probably reset up that rain due to the Auroras being gone. So Snow Warning will be gone. Meganium will be withdrawn for Buffalo. And sent out is the Paldean Fire Breed Tauros. Intimidate, lowering the attack of Pelipper and Archaludon. And here comes the Electroshot, which will get an instant hit right away due to the rain being set up by Pelipper. And the special attack will rise. And here comes that Electroshot right here, right now, onto the Palafin. It is a one-hit instant KO. And the leftovers on the Archaludon. Buffalo now down 2 of their 4 Mons, having been forced to send out this Meganium. Do they decide to Mega Evolve? Toronto's still not revealing what their 4th Pokemon is, only due to the fact that we've seen Sinistcha, Pelipper, and Archaludon. What do these trainers have in store for us? Incoming a Hurricane from the Pelipper onto the Meganium is going to do enough damage to knock it out right away. Meganium is going to fall here. It is up to the Paldean Tauros, and the Electro Shot is going to go towards that Paldean Tauros. Can it withstand something at least to get a Mon off the field for a point for Buffalo? And there's the Electro Shot onto the Tauros. It's a one-hit KO. And there, folks, is match number 1 between Buffalo and Toronto, going to Toronto as we get ourselves set up for match 2. Can Buffalo come back and take this to a game 3? And here we are, folks, here for match number 2 between Buffalo and Toronto. Buffalo deciding to bring the same team from match number 1, and Toronto deciding to switch it up with a Charizard, Rotom, Incineroar, Venusaur, and Garchomp, still keeping that Sneasler, but switching it up for 5 out of the 6 Mons. What will they decide to bring here into match number 2? Momentum completely swinging into Toronto's favor here. Instant sweep, and gotta think for some sort of passion for Toronto. They want to just get this clean sweep, not walk out of here week 1 with the win. But Buffalo, hopefully they can counteract this team and try to take us to a match 3, which so far through the first week, we've only had a 1 game with 3 whole matches. Everything else has been sweeps. So instantly on the field for Buffalo is the Pidgeot and Sylveon, and for Toronto it is going to be the Sneasler and the Charizard. Now for Toronto, they could decide to Mega Evolve Charizard, they could decide to Mega Evolve Garchomp, and it looks like the only Mega that could possibly be on the other side for Buffalo with this current squad, it would be their Mega Meganium. But, well, time will tell what they decide to do here. And there is the Mega Charizard wide for Toronto, going to set up that Harsh Sunlight for 5 turns here. A powerful play known to man. But also realizing here in my notes, there could be Mega Pidgeot if they decided. And the fake out onto the Sylveon. Here comes a Heat Wave, which is increased. An instant KO. Critical hit to the Pidgeot and to the Sylveon, knocking it out. And Sylveon will flinch and cannot move due to that fake out. What a move from Toronto on what they're deciding to do here. What does Buffalo do to counteract here? They're going to send out the Aurora, setting up Aurora's Snow Warden, getting the Harsh Sunlight taken away from the Charizard. That is one way to counteract what Toronto is going to try to do. Now, will Toronto just decide to do what they did last match, which was swap out the Pelipper, in this case, which would be Charizard, to possibly set up that Harsh Sunlight again? And here comes the Venusaur. A close combat from the Sneasler onto the Auroras, knocks it out. One hit KO. Defensive special defense will go down for 1 for the Sneasler. And instantly down, here comes the Auroras. The White Herb for the Sneasler will return its stats back to normal. And here comes the Yawn onto the Venusaur from the Sylveon. How does Buffalo come back from this? Down 2 Pokemon, down to their last 2 Pokemon being the Palafin and the Sylveon. Buffalo's got to fight back of some sort. Give themselves a chance here in week 1 of the Victory Road League. Sylveon with a quick attack does a decent amount of damage, some chip damage, and here comes a Dire Claw from the Sneasler onto the Palafin, and Sludge Bomb onto the Sylveon, knocks it out. Palafin is all that remains and stands in between Toronto and their first win here in the Victory Road League here in week 1. And there's the Draining Kiss from the Palafin onto the Venusaur. We'll get some hit points back, not a whole lot. Venusaur will fall asleep due to that yawn from the Sylveon. What does Toronto decide to do here, as Palafin is the only thing standing in the way from them and a first win here in week 1. And the Venusaur will be withdrawn. And they're going to send out Garchomp. Here comes the Dire Claw onto the Palafin and is going to survive. Palafin is going to use Dive. So they will survive another turn here. Will they decide to hit the Sneasler or will they decide to hit the Garchomp? You have to wonder. They're going to use Protect on Sneasler. And there goes the Garchomp with Earthquake. Palafin will avoid the attack. And Sneasler will avoid the Palafin dive. They were heading to go towards the Sneasler. And a smart play on Toronto's end to go for that Protect. An interesting choice to keep Palafin on the bench instead of leading off so you could get that 0 to hero. And there is the Dire Claw, and that is it, folks. Toronto is walking away with the week 1 win here in the Victory Road League. Buffalo will fall down to 0-1. Buffalo will have to face the Denver Gigaliths. Both teams have not gotten a win here in the Victory Road League through the first week, and so both teams will be gunning to try to get that first win and points off their back. And we will get the post-game interview with Toronto. All right, folks, we have the coach of the Toronto Staraptors, Lindo. Lindo, how does it feel to get that first win out of the way?
Feels good, man. It's great to do it for my city, Toronto, represent up here. Mad respect to Kate for showing up and, fighting as hard as she could. But yeah,
sure.
It's a great start to the season.
Did you think without confidence that you were going to basically sweep? You did not lose a single Mon, which adds points for standings, which will help towards playoff and getting that home, basically home field advantage in the playoffs. Did you think you were going to sweep, or did you think that at one point she could take out one of the Mons?
I always feel like Kate's full of surprises, and I wasn't too worried coming into this, but anything could happen. So I never really know for sure.
For sure. And must ask you, who do you think is your week 1 MVP of your team for the Toronto Staraptors here?
Week 1 MVP, definitely Archiluden. In game 1, took out most of her opposing team by himself. Definitely Archiluden here.
I would think the viewers would think the same. Do you have anything else left to say for us here in the Victory Road League? Before we...
Cleveland, this is for you.
Anyways, you do take on San Diego next week, who's also undefeated at 1-0. Had a thrilling match with San Jose. How are you feeling going into that match before we let you go?
Matt is a great competitor. I am definitely thinking about making some tweaks for next week with movesets and things, but yeah.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
Hoping to get a great match out of you and San Diego, excuse me. And we will see you in week 2. Congratulations on the week 1 win.
See you. Thank you, sir.
All right, and that is it, folks. Week 1 is in the books. Wins by the New York Crooks, the Toronto Staraptors, the San Diego Drampas, the Portland Tricos, the Los Angeles Nidokings, and the Pittsburgh Scissors. Hawaii still yet to play. They will play their debut in week 2 as they were on a bye here in the first week. And of course, Portland will go into the bye next week. Denver, San Jose, Vancouver, Boston, and Seattle all looking for their first win going into week 2. It should be fun, and we will see you next week, folks. Thanks for watching.